In celebration of Women's History Month, we're focusing on women. We're shaping narratives, and these women are shaping narratives across Africa and really around the world. Filmmaker Ekwa Msangi is helping craft these stories. One of her movies, Tahuru Ki, is a suspense thriller about a man and a woman from opposing ethnic tribes. They're working for an underground liberation movement to expose child trafficking.
Si tulishazungumza kuhusu hii topic. Kazi yako ilikuwa kwenda kuokoa wale wengine. Si ulisema utahandle hii job?
Lakini ni watoto.
Hao watoto ni kama wameshakufa wote na unajua hiyo. Sasa umetuweka kwenye matatizo. Watoto wangapi watachukuliwa sasa? Alafu mission yote iko at risk. Na tutamit contact wetu.
I had to try.
Unajua wameanza vita kuficha haya mambo yote. Unadhani train yako itasaidia chochote hapa?
Wangeweza kuwa watoto wangu au wakwako.
Now I want to introduce you to Ekwa Msangi. She is a writer, director, and professor. We were just watching a scene from your movie, which was really quite sort of extraordinary. Explain to me what was going on.
Well, I made this film in 2011, and it was inspired by the post-election violence that took place in Kenya, 2007, 2008. And I was in Kenya at the time and just kind of overwhelmed by how much foreign everyone was there sort of solving the problems, but there wasn't any focus on the local people on the ground who were actually working on creating peace and, you know, restoring unity in the country. And so I felt a responsibility as an artist to say something about, I mean, this is a fictional story, but wanted to say something about the people on the ground who are actually working for our own liberation and peace and unity.
But it's informed by true experiences?
It is informed by true experiences, yes.
Who inspired that? Do you have particular anecdotes that you could share?
Not any person in particular, but at the time while I was living there and there was, you know, sort of the experience on the ground versus what we were watching on the news, I read a news article about children who were being trafficked out of southern Sudan and Uganda, you know, because everyone was focused on the post-election violence stuff that was happening, and so there were all these other things that were taking place that we weren't really paying attention to. And just the people that I met, the everyday cab drivers and, you know, grocery sellers who were concerned and working together to try and make things better, that didn't have the privilege of being on TV to talk about their work.
So you're unique because you're a woman working in a male-dominated industry. What's that like for you, especially working in Africa?
I mean, it's hard. Sexism is hard anywhere in the world. Africa, has its moments. You know, in some ways, it's actually easier in Africa because the industry has kind of exploded in a new way very recently, and so, you know, people are just kind of open for new. There hasn't been 100 years of a union or, you know, the way things have always been. People are just kind of making things up as they go in a lot of places. I mean, it's still hard for men anywhere in the world to take leadership.
For women to take leadership?
Well, for men to follow women's leadership can be a challenge for a lot of men just anywhere. And in a lot of African societies, women are seen to play certain roles. So when you're giving out orders to people, which inevitably I have to do as a director, you know, sometimes it takes a little getting used to.
Just a little bit getting used to.
Yeah.
You know, the Kenyan government recently passed legislation mandating more local productions. How did it come to that? And do you think it might actually benefit women filmmakers?
Yeah, I think it benefits women filmmakers, especially in East Africa. We actually have a very high percentage of women writers, directors, and producers. And so, you know, I think there have been, there will continue to be, there currently are a lot of women who are benefiting from that. The reason that they made the mandate, you know, from colonial times, when I was growing up in Kenya in the 80s and 90s, all of our film, TV was British Top of the Pops and American this, that, and the other, and a sprinkling of Indian films. And we really never got, I grew up in Africa never seeing any African content.
So you grew up in Africa, never seeing African content, but today you are changing that.
Yeah, that's the plan. And it took me coming to the United States and going to film school to learn that there were actually decades of Africans who had been working on that exact mission. But before digital, most of the films were only seen in Europe and abroad. And now with YouTube and cell phones and everything else, we actually get to see each other's work, which is a huge deal.
Thank you so much for your work and your contribution.
Thank you.